Are you kidding me? Back to celebration.
Actually, get out Rough Riders. Rough Riders. There you go. Not too fast here. Just take it easy. One, two, three.
Welcome parents, family members, and friends to the graduation of the class of 2021. Tonight, celebrate. Let's go, clap it up. You've waited a long time for this. There is no rain for hours. We have all night. You're bundled. We're ready. Let's go. So tonight, we all gathered to honor the great accomplishment of the students before you. Please stand and join me with Senior Class Vice President Brooke Youngblood as she leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now welcome Mr. Amitesh Verma to the podium.
On behalf of the class of 2021, I would like to introduce the special guests who are joining us this evening. On the risers behind me are members of the Board of Education, Dr. Eddie Hooker, Mrs. Elizabeth Johnston, Mrs. Kim Martin-Lewis, Mrs. Nikki Singh. Board member Mrs. Nancy Eichholz is not with us tonight. She's attending her son's college graduation. Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Kirk Konecki. Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Melissa Stewart. Director of Finance, Mr. Mick Davis. Director of Operations, Mr. Jim Nichols. Director of Pupil Services, Erica Leppert, and Director of Technology, Mark Richardson. From the primary school principal, Dr. Aaron Owens. Elementary school principal, Mrs. Whitney Buell. Assistant principal, Mr. Andrew Gruber. Middle school principal, Mrs. Jennifer Euland. Assistant principal, Mr. Cash Hayden. High school principal, Mr. Jeff Damadeo. Assistant principal, Mr. Drew Renner. Director of Athletics, Mr. Brian Phelps, and Director of Communications, Ms. Heather Higdon. And finally, the outstanding faculty and staff of Indian Hill High School. Thank you all for being here to share this evening with us. Now, will everyone please rise and join with our talented high school concert band in the singing of our national anthem. Boys, please remove your hats.
Please be seated. This year, as part of our graduation plan, students interested in presenting the commencement address had to write a speech and audition to represent the class of 2021. As you can imagine, with such an extraordinary group of students here at Indian Hill High School, the competition was fierce, and all of the students who participated were certainly worthy. Excitingly, each of the students interested have been able to address the class of 2021 earlier this week at both the Senior Celebration of Excellence and last night at Baccalaureate. Tonight, I have the honor of welcoming Ms. Caroline Gady to the podium to speak to the class of 2021. Just a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with this extraordinary young woman and simply ask her to reflect on her time. Through the stories she told, one thing stood out to me the most. For Caroline, Indian Hill High School has, quote, always felt like home. It's a short statement, but one that carries such significance in the story of our Braves. Isn't this what we want for all of our students? A place that they call home and want to run into rather than out of. She shared several personal stories about her triumphs, her failures, and the lessons learned along the way. While listening to Caroline speak of her personal growth, I felt such pride and hope. Perhaps most importantly, she shared how through failing forward, reflection and support, both from friends and teachers, it fostered a deep commitment to helping others along the way. Caroline will take this passion for service and helping others to the University of Chapel Hill this fall, where she will major in mathematics and quantitative biology. The sky is certainly the limit for this amazing Brave. Please welcome Ms. Caroline Gady.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight as we celebrate the beginning of a new chapter. I would like to begin by thanking the staff members, teachers, administrators, and parents who have helped organize this event, especially during a year of so much uncertainty. Now, I have to admit, being up here, I am really tempted to go off script, but I don't think Mr. Damadeo would be very happy, so I'll just continue. Don't worry, I considered making this one of those eloquent, wordy speeches about new beginnings and bright futures and all of that, but honestly, a football field full of graduating seniors with a postponed graduation wouldn't be too willing to hear a speech full of cliches and idioms for 5 whole minutes. So here I am with a speech I wrote directly from the heart at 1:43 in the morning, sometime back in April. Originally, I had no idea what to talk about for this speech. The past 4 years have been such a blur, I didn't even know what to focus on. Looking back, it seems like just yesterday, I was a tiny little freshman who thought taking AP Euro was the greatest and only academic flex of all time. Part of me misses being that naive 14-year-old, walking around the hallways absolutely terrified of the seniors who just dominated the school for no reason. At that age, life was good. We were clueless and thought we were way cooler than we actually were. We thought being able to finally carry a backpack to class was the epitome of freedom. We genuinely believed we were all too cool for winter homecoming, and our only act of rebellion was sneaking food into the media center. I have a lot of good memories from the beginning of high school, but I have to say that I am beyond grateful to be on the other side of it. Now, I think we can all agree these past 4 years haven't been the easiest. Transforming from naive and hopeful freshmen into half-functioning legal adults has been quite the journey. Personally, I started and ended high school with entirely different friend groups. People drifted in and out of my life, and a lot of people's true colors were revealed, even some of my own. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that these 4 years have felt eternal and brief at the same time. On one hand, 2017 was like yesterday, but when I really think about it, so much time has passed. We are officially old. I mean, we started our freshman year using Blackboard. MP was the ultimate social hour, the mannequin challenge was all too recent, and we even still had that iconic hill over there instead of the home of the Braves. And now, here I am, over 700 daily morning announcements and Pledge of Allegiances later, standing at our graduation saying that somehow we made it. And I like to think that we learned a lot along the way, too. I'm not just talking about academic content like using coefficients in the mole tunnel or trying to memorize the Krebs cycle. I'm talking about lessons we've learned that go beyond the classroom. We've learned how to be the best versions of ourselves, and we've learned what we're like at absolute and utter rock bottom. And now it's time to move on. Whether 2017 through 2021 have been the best or worst years of your life, we're all moving on together. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely hard to have a grade that's been so close for so long dispersed across the country, but we've certainly made our mark on this school district for better or for worse. In a few short months, or hours honestly, you'll probably have forgotten my entire speech. But the one thing I want you all to carry with you is that we will always be Indian Hill High School's graduating class of 2021. I know that's super cliche, but seriously, no matter how different we all are, we will always have that one thing in common. Even if you weren't around to get one of those cringy class of 2021 red hoodies with all the signatures from like 5th grade, you're still a part of our graduating class. Even if you never had Mr. Duncan for geometry, and even if you never met Sasha, you're still a part of our graduating class. To wrap up, I'll admit that I'm scared. I'm headed to UNC in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and there's no Kenwood skyline there, with or without a sink. There's no Mr. Flint to go easy on me for being late. There's no Mr. Saeed to answer insurance questions for when I drive my car through the garage. There's no Mrs. Savage to keep us on our toes, and there's no Mr. Millard to tell the worst jokes of all time. But worst of all, there's none of you. It's been a good ride, class of 2021, and it's okay to be scared for what comes next. And as much as I want to continue making memories in this school, today is the day that our story comes to an end. So everyone, thank you for helping me grow into what I am today, and it has been an absolute honor to watch you all define yourselves over the years. Good luck as you move on to the next chapter, and I really can't wait to see what the future holds. I also can't wait to throw my cap in the air, so I'll conclude this speech by saying thank you and good luck to the class of 2021.
At this time, I would like to bring to the podium Mr. Ethan Marks.
Hello. Indian Hill High School has established many rich traditions in its more than 68-year history. One of those traditions, which is performed each year at graduation, is the symbolic passing of leadership from the exiting senior class to the next senior class. Leadership is the responsibility of the class officers who are elected by their classmates. Would the senior class officers for both the class of 2021 and the class of 2022 please come forward at this time? We got the candles ready? Alrighty. President Maya Anderson passes the symbol of leadership candle to the 2022 class president, Harrison Warfel. Vice President Brooke Youngblood passes the leadership candle to the new Vice President, Nina Overton. Secretary Joey Santati passes the leadership candle to Annie Joy, the new secretary. And Treasurer Sophie Sawyer is passing the leadership candle to Annie Isfording, accepting on behalf of the next Treasurer, Cece Benza, who could not be here tonight. Thank you all very much. Now I am pleased to once again introduce our principal, Mr. Damadeo.
Welcome, friends, families, colleagues, and most of all, the class of 2021. Braves, I ask that you just take a moment and simply look around. Remember this moment and remember how this feels. In a year that has created so much uncertainty, fear, and doubt, look how far we've come. Several months ago, the idea of all of us being together here at Tomahawk Stadium, celebrating this extraordinary class of Braves, was simply impossible. But the day is finally here, and as it should be, it's a day where the class of 2021 and their loved ones can be together, look back at your time here at Indian Hill, and truly celebrate. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment and thank all who helped make Indian Hill an exceptional place to work, learn, and grow. To the Board of Education, PTO, boosters, foundation, teams, clubs, and community partners, thank you for your continued dedication and commitment to our Braves and providing us with the ability and support to allow their dreams to become reality. I also must give a special shout out to Mr. Scott Kimmons, Mr. Denny Dupps, Mrs. Donna Frickman, Mrs. Mary Helen Hedgebeth, Mrs. Judy Sichterman, Mrs. Karen Post, and Ked Stegman, and the entire maintenance team who together worked tirelessly these past few weeks and hours to help make this moment happen. And lastly, I would like to take a special moment and recognize our extraordinary staff who came to work last August with questions around safety guidelines, social distancing, mask wearing, connecting with kids, face-to-face instruction, virtual instruction, a combination of both, and who would not let the circumstances of COVID-19 stop them from giving all that they have to our kids each and every day. I ask that you join me now and give them a huge round of applause. Thank you. Just over a year ago, the world as we know it was literally turned upside down. When the pandemic started, most of us didn't assume that the safety precautions taken would still be in place this far in the future. To be honest, most didn't even assume it would impact the 2021 school year. But as the weeks of last spring and summer went by, it became crystal clear that this year would be unlike any other. Too often, as is our nature as humans, we focus on the negative and what we cannot control. There are many lessons to take away from this, but one in particular that this moment in time should remind us of is the idea and concept of perspective. We are together in a way that we haven't been in the stadium in over 20 months. For the first time since the class of 2019, a graduating class is allowed to be together and celebrate this achievement with those who have meant the most to you and them along the way. In a year where some students were finally allowed to come back to school just a few weeks ago, we have been together for almost the entire school year. 3 weeks remote, 2 weeks hybrid, and after today, 32 weeks of face-to-face instruction and connected through BVA. Easily taken for granted, but I ask that again, you just let that sink in for a moment. As I reflect on the year, it is difficult to articulate the experience of the class of 2021, but through the chaos and the close contacts and the quarantines, our students truly experienced adversity and exemplified the concepts of grit and resilience that, frankly, 17 and 18-year-olds shouldn't have to. Senior year should not be characterized by what we lost, but rather by the celebratory moments that define a high school experience and last a lifetime in our memories. This class, the class of 2021, have been forced to grow up quickly. Since last August, we have asked a lot of all of you, and you have not disappointed. Standing here today, the only word I could think of is pride. I am so proud of the way you have led by example, rallied behind one another, embraced all the safety guidelines, as uncomfortable as they were, and gave your best each and every day through the course of the year. I also stand before you tonight reflecting on the fact that this group of seniors is my first class. It was 4 years ago that I came to Indian Hill High School, excited, determined, and like many of you, apprehensive of what these next 4 years would bring. So in a way, tonight I graduate with all of you, and I cannot overstate how honored I am. To be part of the story of these amazing young men and women is truly the honor of a lifetime, and I still remember our first class meeting where I challenged you to be the best that you could be every single day. Every day you choose how to respond to the events that you experience. The outcomes you get are determined by the responses you choose. Throughout the course of the year, so many people have asked, how are your kids doing? Well, you have done remarkable things under extraordinary circumstances that no other class before you has had to endure, and that no other class beyond you, we hope, ever has to. So often as an educator and a parent, we talk about what we want most for our children as they progress through school. Robust and interesting academic offerings, rigorous standards, extracurricular opportunities, are just some of the aspects of education that top the list. But lately, so much of the focus is slowly shifting towards creating an environment that cultivates success skills that transcend the classroom. Creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and the ability to communicate are just key components for success in your future. But as Carol Dweck states, a key attribute towards individual success is approaching life with a growth mindset. It's the ability to understand and believe that failing and failure are very different. Failing is part of learning. It's what creates the iterative process of trial and error and forces us to try again. It's the ability to challenge yourself and step out of your comfort zone. It is the only area, and only in this area, that true progress occurs. So Braves, in a few short weeks, you will begin this new journey. You will experience new people, new environments, new classes, and new challenges. It will not be easy, but I urge you to think about what it has taken for you to get to this point today. Where have you stepped out of your comfort zone these last 13 years? Where have you failed, and what have you learned along the way? Be confident in who you are and what you have done. Be uncommon. Do the work that others refuse to do. Take care of one another, lift up one another, and remember what it means to be a Brave. Seniors, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. Must be the cold. Okay. And now, the moment that all of you have waited an extra hour for, so thank you. Mr. Konecki and the members of the Board of Education, I am pleased to present for graduation the class of 2021. At this time, I would like to ask our school counselors, Mrs. Cottrell, Ms. Kearns, Mrs. Jackson, and Mr. Johnson to come forward and read the roll of graduates.
Stop for us there, graduates. And as we get set here, we just want to make a special note to please be mindful that on the roll call, we will continue to call students' names. And so we know that this is a glorious day for you families, but we do want to make sure that excessive cheering, unfortunately, can impede hearing the next graduate. So do with that information what you will. All righty, are we ready? All right. Caroline Kelly Gady. Excuse me. Amatesh Verma. Nicholas Ryan Adair. Saifullah Hatim Saifullah Hatim Abdel Hamid Ali. There we go. Joseph Warren Alsbach. Saris Anand. Jessica Butaler August. Joshua Henry Austin. Excuse me. Jasper Dean Bennett. Jenna Ariana Bennett. Nathan Gabriel Berger. Baptistine Louise Marie Boniol. Audrey Henderson Bristol. Jack Ryan Brunner. Robert Michael Brunner. Jessica June Buddy. Abigail Jane Campa. Anderson James Kennedy. Caroline Virginia Cassidy. Robert Luke Castellini. Nicholas Paul Check. Alan Chunso Choi. Willard Jeffrey Church. Jesse Don Cleverly. Tyler Andrew Compton. Matthew Robert Kopfer. Piper Claire Cowman. Katarina Stella Christo. Carolyn Coco Camelo Davis. Adam Joseph Diefendiefer. Kenneth Jackson Devine. Charles Francis DeGeneiro. Elizabeth Seaton Dorger. Ridge Anders DeMullen. Jillian Aaron Donahoe. Daniel Ryan Edmondson.
Harris Salem Foad. William Thomas Ford. Daniel Alexander Forte. Jake Taylor Fox. Lauren Ivy Fry. Kennedy Joy Frost. Connor Paul Gallagher. Grace Rive Galloway. Riley Jane Grace. Kennedy Helena Kalia Green. Kylie Elise Hack. Dylan Michael Lee Halloran Thompson. Luke William Hammond. Faye Madison Hardeck. William Marshall Hayter.
Cole Tanner Heald. Zoe Alexandra Hindman. Elise Cambron Hobson. Mohammed Fahim Hossein. Annie Kathleen Hovey. James Lee Irvine. Jaden Nikel James. Jillian Riley James. Charles Edward Johnson, Jr. Ellie Marie Jones. Michael Anthony Kazmarowski. Travis Rex Kenny. David Alexander Holodenko. Isabella Jagger Kirby. William Paul Kleekamp. Janaki Lakshmi Cody. Benjamin Kareth Cruzy. John Edward Cushman. Julianne Catherine Lambert. Grant Linhart Lanham. Jessica May Lau.
Kevin Daniel Lewis. Maria Helena Lindberg. Simon Thomas Lococo. Mateo David Lopez. Sten Wentai Liu. Olivia Grace Lutz. Maya Lynn Anderson. Brooke Elizabeth Youngblood. Joseph Peter Santati. Sophie Jacqueline Sawyers. Leonardo Raymond Mangilardo. Natalie K. Mintero. Christopher William Morocco. Ethan Rayfield Marks. J. Scott Masturzo. Charlotte Chesbro McNair. Sophie Bell Megan. Armand Ryan Mazad. Benjamin Joseph Miller. Morgan Davis Miller. Paige Lillian Lewis. Reginald Malachi Coach. Sarah Matawi. Yassine Amra Musa. Megan McKenna Muncie. Nadanai Nai. Mariana Rita Narita. Garrett Chang O'Brien. Megan McKenna O'Brien. Corinne Connolly Odell. Zachary Michael Osterhughes. Amanda Ray Peters Bambick. Graham Frederick Pierce. Sydney Medley Poffenberger. Cameron Reed Rabinold. Vendita Rastogi. Abhishek Ratella. Nicholas Andrew Ringer. Lucas Thor Robinson. Connor Nicole Rohrig. Narayan Roy.
Andrew Michael Sakemiller. Jacob Scott Schatzman. Joseph William Sholey. Bridget Lauren Schumacher. Anna Rose Schumann. Sarah Ruth Schumann. Noemi Isabel Seaman Kosmeyer. Lauren Elizabeth Sewell. Scott Daniel Shakely. Daniel Albert Sheard. James Ashley Shepard. Emily Veronica Sitchell. Xander Barrett Standley. Benjamin Shane Starkey. Victor Michael Stetler. Nathan Dominic Strauss. Zachary Samuel Sullivan. Charles Patrick Summerall. Sarah Strapek. Catherine Marie Taylor. Matthew John Fife. Olivia Madison Vigran. Wyatt Michael Walks. Olivia Leon Walk. Coleman Robert Worsler. Christopher Griffin Winker. Kayla Nicole Warbrick. Brendan Thomas West. Brooke Marie Whitaker. Charles Alexander Wilson. Nicholas Joseph Woods. Lauren Louise Yamaguchi. Maxwell Giovanni Yanis Dio. Alexander Fields Yeager. Gabriel Tiani Yin. Warren Hagan Zahn. Douglas Jerome Zhang, the second. Jade Annabelle Zarco. Caleb Clayton Zender. Jenny Zhang.
Thank you, members of the Board of Education. On behalf of the class of 2021, I proudly accept these diplomas. Seniors, please stand at this time. Seniors, please move your tassel from the right to the left to symbolize that we have graduated. Seniors, please be seated. And now I would like to introduce the Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Konecki.
Indian Hill High School, class of 2021. If the story of your senior year had a theme, I believe it would be resilience. By definition, resilience is the capacity to recover. It is toughness. It is the ability to withstand adversity. Resilience gives you strength to overcome hardship. As you know, this was no ordinary school year. You proved yourself extraordinary as you excelled academically and thrived in your achievements within athletics and the arts, even as odds were stacked against you due to COVID-19. You overcame hardship. Your legacy is your resilience. We, your teachers, your families, your community, we stand in awe at the grace with which you have navigated this school year. Class of 2021, we will remember you as leaders. You are a shining example of student success during this unique chapter in your lives. Your story is already amazing. And as the authors of the chapters yet to be written, as Indian Hill High School alumni, we look forward to seeing how your stories continue. As you prepare for the next chapter, there is one thing we want you to never forget. You are, and always will be, Braves. Lead on. Congratulations, class of 2021. Thank you, everyone.
All right, everybody, thank you all for coming for the 2021 commencement. Faculty, would you please lead the graduates out?
Exclusive coverage on the Indian Hill Television Network has been a copyrighted presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department.